This is an update on Cyclone Faraji, currently located in the Southwest Indian Ocean. As of right now, the cyclone is a Category 2, with winds of 105 miles an hour, which is 90 knots by my estimates, and a pressure of 967 millibars or hectopascals. The storm is located at 15.9 south and 85.4 east, and is currently moving east-southeast at 5 miles an hour. This is all of 18 UTC. This is currently a code lavender on our scale. This means that there is a tropical cyclone with winds of at least 74 miles an hour, but below 111 miles an hour active, and not currently threatening land. Here is currently the infrared satellite imagery. As you can see, cloud tops around the now forming eye again is very high. Now, with the eye forming there, it's much easier to assume that now we have strengthening going on yet again in the storm, and this could very well strengthen back up to Category 3 status after this video is posted. As we move on, here's water vapor imagery from the Imagery satellite, courtesy of Weather Nerds. Moisture around that eye wall, which has formed again, is very bubbly. There's a lot of water there, which, as you can also see, there is very minimal amounts of dry air around the system. This is going to help Faraji keep its intensity and stay alive for many more days. You are able to see just the tiniest bit of shear, however, due to this motion going on here, but it's not enough to interrupt the core here, as the shear is usually going this way and not to the core of the system itself. I believe so. And here is again Himawari SWIR here. You can't really see the eye popping out as much in this satellite imagery, but it does show that the system is still very much alive, very healthy actually, and likely not to go away anytime soon, though we are going to be expecting weakening sooner or later. Here is the current JTWC forecast of warning 11 of 18 UTC. As you can see the track here, I believe the storm peaked around here with winds of 160 miles an hour. Currently located right here with winds of 105 miles an hour, 95 knots. They're expecting the storm to gradually weaken as it makes this turn toward the left to Madagascar and the rest of Africa. Models are expecting Madagascar to be in the line of fire, though I do believe the storm will strengthen a bit before weakening again. It might slow the weakening process actually. Moving onwards to the forecast from the official RSMC, Météo France La Réunion. I said that very wrong. We have right here. It's currently a tropical cyclone on their scale. It peaked as a very intense tropical cyclone here, weakening to an intense tropical cyclone to a normal TC. They're expecting severe tropical storm back to a moderate tropical storm and a tropical depression as it begins to speed up actually, but then strengthening back up as you can see here. They're expecting this by the 15th of February. So that's clearly something to keep an eye on. And now we look at the model guidance. Best track here is permitting something similar to this. All the models are calling for this turn, though HWRF is kind of going a lot more south there. But most of the models are around here, so you can expect something similar to this movement if we are going to trust the models here. Model guidance and the intensity forecast. Before the HWRF was quite the outlier, but now all of them are predicting a weakening trend. HWRF on a more rapid rate. The rest of the models, particularly the JTWC and the DSHP, calling for a more smooth transitioning into the weakening before a jolt up. A good amount of the models are predicting this jolt up, though not many of them are agreeing on the final intensity at this point. Again, this is the 15th of February, not particularly the end of the storm's life. Wind shear from the GFS and JHWRF models show that it's currently steady around 20 knots, is what it's initializing as, and the wind shear has been at an increase, as you could have seen in the satellite imagery. It's expected to steady around here. Before, this is where the models kind of diverge. The HWRF is calling for the wind shear to still stay a little high, though going all the way down here before going up again. The GFS, however, is calling for very declining wind shear, hence why I believe they're going for a bit of a higher intensity. Now here are the sea surface temperatures. Now this image is a lot blurrier than when I last used it, so that's a bit of a problem. I'll try to get that fixed, but the sea surface temperatures are pretty warm, as you can see, getting a little cooler. That makes sense. Faraji is located right there. So the waters around the Category 2 cyclone are pretty warm, which is why we're getting that eye again most likely. So as it moves into these waters, they'll still definitely very warm, not as warm, and with wind shear on the increase, it's going to cause the storm to weaken down as expected as it makes the turn. But as it does, I believe the waters are going to be getting warmer and warmer, and that's why some models are predicting some rapid strengthening when it reaches around this area. But that's very far out and not final. We have to wait and see, as anything that goes beyond the 5-day range can begin getting very unreliable. And now then, that's what we got for Faraji. Now let's look at the next 3 names worldwide for all the basins, 7 of them. Close here in the Southwest Indian Ocean, we're watching out for Goambi, Habana, and Iman. In the Australian region, we're watching for Marion, Niran, and Odette. Southern Pacific, we're watching for Cody, Dovey, and Eva. In the Western Pacific, we're watching out for Dejen, Sariji, I'm gonna assume I said that right, and Choi Wan. In the North Indian Ocean, Taktai, Yas, and Gulab are next up. In the Eastern Pacific, we're going to watch out for Andres, Blanca, and Carlos. And in the North Atlantic, Anna, Bill, and Claudette are the first 3 names on that list. Central Pacific, we're watching out for Hone as well, followed by Iona, I believe. And that's all I've got for you for Cyclone Faraji.